welcome to the Friends of Zeus podcast. This is our, what do you call, it's not bicentennial.
Yeah, it is. It's
It
exactly
is?
what it is. Yeah.
This is our bicentennial episode, number 200.
Should have worn my
I'm not going to
tricorn
say it.
hat.
I'm going to leave it to you guys to say how amazing that is. See
That
how,
is pretty amazing.
it's pretty good. It's pretty cool. We're going to get there. We're still like 1/10 of what Rogan did in a lot of these other places. But they're doing 2 or 3 a week. But I
I
think
do it for the love, buddy. I do it
so
for
do
the
I.
love.
This is catharsis for me.
Yeah.
And I get out of the house and I get to talk with pals. It's fine for me. But anyway,
Cheers.
Moving
200th
on.
episode.
Cheers,
Cheers.
to 200.
Yeah,
Cheers to
toast.
200.
Dr. Pepper.
Yeah.
Awesome.
All right.
So, luckily for us, we got kind of a spicy meatball to talk about this week. I did want to have a guest, but this is way more exciting than what he would have had to offer.
So,
no, I mean,
no offense, unknown guest,
okay,
when you're
cut that
watching
out.
this.
I'm just kidding.
I'm not cutting it out.
No, just a different type of thing.
Yeah.
We are going to talk about is it Luigi Mangione?
Luigi Mangione.
Yeah.
Chuck.
Today being December 10th at 9:55, and the reason I say 9:55 is the news keeps changing like on a minute to minute basis. But we wanted to talk about this case and our impressions of it, and Tom had a good idea that maybe towards the end we speculate on what's going on. What his motives were and all that. I think that the motives are kind of clear, but anyway, we'll get into it.
I think it's safe to say that pretty much everything we're going to be doing is speculating, except for like what we know, like, certain facts. But there's going to be a lot of speculation.
Yeah, so I guess I'll get
Happening.
it started and we can just go from there. I want to say it was December 4th that this happened, that he shot CEO of UnitedHealthcare.
It was last Wednesday morning, right after the morning after our last episode. Yeah.
We had something to do with it.
Yeah.
Anyway, this guy walked up and shot the CEO of UnitedHealthcare. To be noted, it's one of I think it is the largest insurance company in the U.S.
In the world.
Walked up behind the guy, put 3 in his back.
I don't know.
I think it was 3.
I'm not sure.
And
2. He was only shot twice.
Speculation. We're speculating.
Well, only 1 is bad.
Yeah.
And killed the guy.
And the guy's name is
Brianthompson.
correct.
Correct?
From Minnesota.
Yeah, Minnesota.
Minnesota.
Yeah. Anyway, my first thing I have to say is yes, insurance companies are shitbags as a general rule, but this guy did not deserve to be taken out the way he was.
I don't know. I mean, not that I'm gonna let. That's one of the premises I would like to challenge. I don't know if I accept the fact that insurance companies are all shitbags.
Well,
but I'll digress.
United's denial of claims, I read in some article, is 32%, and the national average for insurance companies is 16%. That being said,
100%. Seems like they deny like everything.
Yeah.
And so then you got to resubmit it. Then they pay a little bit.
Yeah. So they can keep your money longer, gain interest on it, and then maybe they'll do it later. But why not gain interest and keep you at bay for a while? I mean, that's it doesn't take a genius to figure out what they're doing with that. If they deny you long enough and it was not something that was fatal, then you walk away and you got a bad hip or whatever. And eventually they take care of it, but they've capitalized on it immensely. I'm not a huge fan of insurance companies, but I do see a need for them. But at the base, insurance companies are banking on you not using them. Like that, the whole idea of insurance is to not want to use it, and they make it very discouraging at times. I don't go to the doctor nearly as much as I should because $50 copay here, da 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 da. But anyway, this guy didn't deserve to die. The interesting thing that I'm noticing with this news cycle is I was trying to find information out about Brian Thompson, and short of the fact that he is who he was, his station in life, there's not like anything that really is cause for this, short of he was the head of the snake. And this guy in Luigi's mindset.
Yeah. I mean, everything I read about the guy was that he was a super nice, awesome dude. I mean, this is like friends and family, well liked,
the company,
respected member of the community, all that stuff.
They called him BT, and I think he was on the council for the Special Olympics for 2026. Guess they won't be seeing him there. But yeah, it's tragic alone, just based on that. If they had caught the guy right afterwards, it would still be a sad story. By the way,
the two guys, if I can just, for his background, so the billionaire CEO came from a kind of a poor background, kind of pulled himself up by his bootstraps, went to small college, worked his way up, became a billionaire. The shooter was rich, stands to inherit, or would have stood to inherit, a lot of money. Went to like a $40,000 per year high school. Then he went to Ivy League college, UPenn. So it's funny that the contrast in the two types of people that they are and where they ended up in life.
Yeah,
especially with the message, it seems like the killer is trying to present. I think there was something I saw where he was yelling at the press, and he said something along the lines of, "This is an insult to the American populace." Like he's, like I said, I'm torn by the fact that he was so smart on so many aspects of this. Smart, maybe not be the word. Again, I used the term earlier, and I think it's more
resourceful,
organized,
calculated.
What's that?
Yeah.
Calculated.
Yeah.
I don't think he was all that smart. I mean,
you're
going to kill somebody, that's the task at hand. And he stops at the Starbucks to get his coffee fix, pulls his mask down. Come on.
Well, that's going to
carries the gun around. Doesn't get rid of the gun. He gets caught with the gun on him.
And the ID and the fake ID.
I mean, don't tell me he's some sort of genius mastermind criminal. He's not.
He evaded a nationwide search for him for 5 days with all the technology we have. See, here's my thing. I think they knew who he was far earlier than we knew they knew who he was.
Yeah, because they knew where he was. Like they were tracking his location.
Really? Yeah. Well, Mike was saying that he had a Faraday bag.
I didn't hear that. Yeah, he had a Faraday bag.
He was ID'd by the person at McDonald's.
Yeah, by a group of senior.
Yeah, but we didn't know who he was.
Well, just based on his picture, they ID'd him.
I think
is that what it is?
Surprising. I don't think I could do that.
The people in the McDonald's ID'd him based on the photographs, but his name was not released till he was taken into custody by the Altoona police because no one knew who he was. And the police have come out since, the New York police, and said unequivocally, wow, did I get that out? Anyway, they said without any doubt, they had no idea who this guy was.
Well, then how did they know that he got on a fucking electric bike after the fact and went to wherever he went?
Because they traced
the bike
photos.
would be tracked.
Cameras, maybe?
Oh.
Yeah, on the they had pictures of him leaving.
Well, the bike would have been tracked too. The bike, those things have GPS.
Yeah, but just with the Ryan guy, we didn't. If you didn't know.
Well, it was not a city bike though.
Yeah, it was something that didn't have a tracker on it. I think. I mean, we were just. I mean, we were talking a little bit earlier, but talking about his smarts is kind of a tricky thing. So
well, that's why I say organized.
The guy. Look, the guy, I call him a kid. He's not a kid. He's 26. Guy's an intelligent guy. He graduated valedictorian from Gilman, which is probably one of the best all-boys schools in this whole state of Maryland, easily, as far as like reputation is concerned.
It's up in Baltimore, right?
Yeah, it's just south of Towson. And he
It's right behind you.
Graduated.
That tall building right behind you.
Yeah, he's way. Well, it's actually it would be this way. He'd be up that way up Charles Street. But he graduated cum laude from UPenn. He got a bachelor's and then he got a master's in engineering. So
Hmm.
he's not a dummy, but
It's definitely not a
there's a
dummy.
learning curve for everything, right? So like if you are trying to learn how to drive stick, you grind the gears a little bit for a while, and so this guy was going out to kill somebody.
This is his
It's a
first
pretty
time.
steep
Okay.
learning curve. I mean, if it is his first, I mean, I guess there were no other
Okay.
victims.
Assuming.
So
Yes.
he started out okay, but again, this is like the whole thing, not to compare it to uh, pregnancies, but I'm always amazed with how like doctors can predict when a kid's going to be born because they have 100 gazillion terabytes of data to look at. Well, the New York Police Department and other police departments, they've been doing this a long time. So I mean, the fact that he was found out and discovered from a photograph is amazing to me. I mean, that's like so 20th century. You would expect he would be seen by a drone
Hmm.
but they interviewed the guy, one of the guys. There was a group of senior seasoned citizens at McDonald's, and they were kind of joking. I think that looks like the dude. And this one guy, some people left. And this guy went up and talked to someone at the McDonald's. But my point is, people were coming and going. And according to this guy, there was like, is that guy looks like? But most people
Did
just
I ever
left
tell
and
you guys
didn't
when
report
I
it.
was working at Burger King? I
No,
swear to God, BTK came in there.
BTK and the Burger King.
Did you tell it? I don't think you told us that.
And you're
Well,
nearby where he was, so that would make sense.
yeah, it was when he like resurfaced.
Yeah.
No, it was like a Sunday and I worked like 5 a.m. to whatever, like the breakfast time. And he would like this person, it was like 2 or 3 weeks in a row. This person would come in, read the Sunday paper, and just take the BTK articles. He would just drink a
No.
coffee.
Wow.
No.
Mm.
And like, I don't like, I always rack my brain about like, what did that guy look like? Like, and I only seen like maybe a side profile of him, but I'm like, dude, what if that was BTK?
Wow.
Yeah, I mean,
That's crazy.
this dude, the resources he had, I mean, he lived in obviously grew up in Towson, Baltimore, Maryland. He lived in Hawaii for 2 years. He apparently resided in Atlanta for a while. He lived in Japan for a while. This guy knew how to get around. He was a worldly guy. He knew public transportation. He knew all that stuff, like how to pack, how to, you know, be on his own, I guess, not like survival in the forest, but survival in like society. So, and he had money, but I think for whatever reason, he did it with passion, even though it was very passionless. And then I think he just ran out of ideas, man. I mean, what do you do after that? I mean, everyone's like, is he going to go after someone else? He probably would have. I mean, what are you going to do? You're not going to like go legit after that. The thing that amazes, this is the last thing, and I'll shut up for a while. This is the part that like shocked me. When they found him in McDonald's, the guy that they were interviewing, it's a fascinating interview. The guy they were interviewing that talked to the McDonald's employee and said, "Hey, I think that's this guy." Even he said, he was like, you know what? If he wasn't wearing that COVID mask, I don't think anyone would have recognized him. The fact that he
I
had the
recognize him
mask
with
on,
the COVID mask.
right, because
That's
it's
amazing.
so unusual. They're like, and so many pictures of him had the COVID
I'm like
mask.
horrible with faces and names, and
But if he just
I would.
walked in without the mask, people wouldn't give him another look. But the fact that he had a mask on, I mean, this is
Oh, that
2024.
made him suspicious,
It
I
made him
guess.
suspicious. Exactly. It made people want to look at him. He should have just, I don't know I mean, why didn't he just lose the mask, shave his head, or color? I mean, didn't this guy ever see the Jackal or Day of the Jackal? Color his
Yeah.
hair white, get a suit on, or be homeless. I always thought if you were to do something like this, go be homeless for like half a year. Like have some resources
Yeah.
stored away at a
Go off
locker
the
at bus
map.
stations so that you can go in and get some money here and there. But just live on
Mhm.
the street. No one's even going to look at you. Anyway,
That's true.
So
They can hide in plain sight.
can hide in
I
plain sight.
literally earlier I was telling Zeus, I was like, dude, I don't know why he went to Altoona, Pennsylvania. Like you're in New York City. There's so many like back alleys and underground bullshits and fucking little areas you can hide in and no one would ever like you'd be yeah, just like
But there are
hiding in plain sight.
cameras. There are cameras, though. I mean,
Yeah, but I mean, there's a lot of like hidden shit
I mean,
in New York
there's
City.
8 million people as well.
Yeah, there's so many
that's true.
people.
I heard that he took the bus. The one thing they did say was he took the bus. They think he went to Philadelphia, which would make sense because he's familiar with Philadelphia because that's where UPenn is. And then he took a bus to
Yeah.
Pittsburgh, and that he was actually on a bus, and that the bus had stopped. It was a stop in Altoona. That's what I heard.
I don't think that
And
was
so
his
he got off.
intended destination.
He couldn't resist the hash
Right.
browns. He had to have that hash brown. They have a picture of him in the McDonald's right before the cops arrest him. He's like eating a hash brown
smiling.
with the
I
mask
hate those.
pulled
I
down.
hate those. You guys like McDonald's hash browns? I don't.
They're basically crunchy grease. But
Yeah.
if you put ketchup on them, they're spectacular.
You know who has the
Yeah, I love
best
'em.
hash browns? Fucking Dunkin' Donuts.
Oh, I've never had them.
I've never
Never
had
tried
hash
that,
browns
but
from Dunkin'
They're so
Donuts.
good.
Arby's makes a good those little hash round things. Anyway, we're getting way off.
Sorry. I'm going to be quiet.
In this episode, we're going to talk about the best hash browns across the United States. Yeah, like I said it before. I feel like the things that are stupid don't match up with the things that were organized. Like he made a gun. He was there for 10 days beforehand, casing it out. See, this is the thing. How is he so smart to make a gun, to get fake IDs, to do all these things, and then leave a water bottle? And what else did he throw a water bottle down?
His
and something.
phone. His
phone.
burner phone.
That's
book
the
smart.
part that
He's
doesn't
book smart,
make
Zeus,
sense.
and he's not street smart.
Dude, he graduated cum laude at
He's
UPenn.
book smart, not
He's book
street
smart.
smart. It's different.
Can I get another beer?
Yeah, I don't.
Yeah, but just like with the Koberger, he left the fucking knife sheath there. Like, you idiot. The one thing you
Is that the
Koberger.
guy's name? Yeah,
Tom,
Koberger.
Koberger.
I think that my problem with what you're saying is he's clearly intelligent.
I'm admitting he's intelligent, but not in the
No, here's
common
the thing.
sense way.
He's inexperienced with
Not
this.
in the murdering arts. Yeah.
Yeah. He's not
He
masterful.
never took that Yale class on
He
Murder
didn't take that.
101.
Yeah, the murdering class.
Well, I mean, he was, a computer engineer.
He's no OJ.
Designing apps and yeah.
And
I'm
look
sorry.
at OJ. OJ got away for fucking ever. He was in court, I'm not complimenting the guy. What I'm saying is everything that, as Desiree said earlier when we were talking, it doesn't pass the sniff test.
Well, plus there might have been
That's right.
nerves, You kill somebody or you're planning to kill somebody, you think everybody's watching you. You're going to be nervous. You're going to be making missteps.
So nervous that he walks into McDonald's and has breakfast. I don't know.
Well, he's got to eat,
I feel
It's bananas.
I feel as though it was orchestrated on a level. Like I don't know that this wasn't his intent to be caught. He talks about Ted Kaczynski.
Mm-hmm.
He did from what I read, he did not condone Kaczynski's killing people, but he did also call him a political revolutionary. So
He actually said, no, he said it was justified to kill people like that.
I don't recall reading that.
I heard it today, just about an hour ago.
It's
amazing. People go back and dig up. They went through all of his Twitter, all of his old Facebook, which he hasn't even been on in years. And they went through all of his old book reviews that he posted on the internet. They read through his entire review of Ted Kaczynski's book and read through the whole thing. It's amazing how much people dug into this guy in 24 hours.
I mean, there's people. Yeah, there's people that's what they do. I mean, and for full disclosure, I mean, we have spoken. I'm not going to say favorably, but we have we've talked about Kaczynski on this podcast. Mm-hmm. I mean, he definitely.
There's good things. I would say good things about portions of his book as well.
Yeah, I mean, he
not the killing people part, but he makes some good points in there.
He was definitely prescient of technology and where it's going and how it affects societies. I mean, that was his
reaction
big
to those beliefs is what's the problem.
But I feel like that, who is that politician that's like, I knew Ted Kaczynski. I worked with Ted Kaczynski. You, sir, are
Lloyd
no
Benson.
Ted Kaczynski. I don't know. I'm
Lloyd
paraphrasing.
Benson.
Yeah. Lloyd Benson. That's right.
You're no Ted Kaczynski.
You're no Ted Kaczynski. Wait.
Senator, I served with Jack Kennedy. I knew Jack Kennedy. Jack Kennedy was a friend of mine. Senator, you're no Jack Kennedy.
Man.
You talk about Luigi is no Ted Kaczynski.
Yeah, Luigi is no Ted Kaczynski. Yeah. I mean, there's a couple little areas, like if you did a Venn diagram, you've got just the real crime thing, and our society, we watch NCIS, CSI Miami, like all that stuff. And this is like an episode because we keep getting drip, drip, drip new details like every 3 hours. So it's like fascinating. You got that part of it. You got the whole insurance company part of it. You got the whole media narrative part of it. And just like, I don't know who it was earlier said something that, well, we know this and this and this about what we don't know anything about what this guy was thinking. The only thing we know about his motive and all that is now that we know a little bit from the manifesto, but before that, for days, it was just coming from the press. They were creating this narrative around this guy that he was like some sort of like anti-hero, whatever.
Yeah, that's the thing about
That's not
this
from
that I
him.
find abhorrent is there's like if you go on Instagram Reels or TikTok or Facebook, any of those things, you're seeing people that are like condoning
Shooting a
Brian
guy.
Thompson. What's that?
Shooting a guy. Just condoning it. I think it's okay.
It's disgusting. It makes me not proud of our society that I get not liking insurance companies. I do not get condoning the murder of a father of two.
Well, it's also like, where do you, for all the, I don't know, man. I mean, when you're in your 20s, you can be very rash. I mean, this guy, a 65-year-old is probably not going to do this, right? When you're in your teens and 20s, I think especially if you're a guy, you can be super hot-headed about stuff. I mean, it doesn't take much to just send you. I mean, that's why we send 19-year-olds to war. And yeah, girls too, but I'm saying I know more boys that were like this than girls, but so it's not that hard to get someone in that age to act, rash and everything.
Yeah.
But anyway, I don't know.
I mean, he was 26. I feel like by the time
kid.
you're 26, you kind of grow up a little bit.
You would
You
hope.
should anyway.
Yeah.
And this was a premeditated murder.
Premeditated is even kind of a not giving it the credit it deserves. Not that he deserves credit, but this is far more than premeditated. And this is why he was there 10 days. He made a gun. He planned it out. He wrote on the casings. He had a backpack full of Monopoly money. And
What was he going to do with that?
I think that was just a statement.
He's just going to like throw it on the
maybe that was
body.
That could have been his Joker card,
Yeah.
Yeah. You know what he reminds me of? Has everybody seen 12 Monkeys?
Oh yeah.
He reminds me of the Brad Pitt character.
Mm-hmm.
Entitled, son of a rich, you know what I mean?
Yeah. He was the one that pulled it all off.
Yeah, he really does resemble that character in a large degree. I'll be interested to find out later on that reference comes up at some point because dead on, he's the Brad Pitt character. Loads of money, but self-loathing or whatever it is, he decides to attack the system. Now there is the common story that I'm hearing is that he had some form of back pain.
That's what I was going to say.
Surgeries.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Apparently back in the spring.
Yeah, and
lower back.
But again, and this is where I contest what Tom's saying. He had the money, so insurance. I don't really think that insurance was it.
That's true.
And he could have paid in cash.
He's rich. Why is he worried about the insurance?
And his family owns a network of of retirement homes, and he actually volunteered in them when he was in high school.
You want
So
my spin on that, Tom?
he's
My
in
spin,
the health. His family's in the healthcare business, is what I'm
right.
saying.
My spin is he was getting the care he needed, and he was getting painkillers, got addicted, and was doctor shopping. Now, are you guys all familiar with doctor shopping is?
In his manifesto, though,
No.
he complained about his
No.
mother and her insurance and her health care, though.
Yeah,
So
but
he did there was a motive there.
No, there's not, because they are worth billions. There's
I
no
don't know about
motive.
billions, but
But you know what I mean.
hundreds
They
of
could have paid
millions.
in cash. They could have paid in cash for any care that he got. So my thinking is he got addicted to maybe Oxy or something along those lines, started doctor shopping, and then the doctors caught on and denied him medication. And he, in his own addle-brained way, associated insurance with the fact that they caught on to the fact that he was trying to get more drugs. Just a theory, but it holds a little water, right?
It does, but I also, again, looking back at the psychology of this, and I'm not making this up. I mean, no one said it about this case, but you've seen other cases like this where the guy personally, like it's you never know what's going on inside somebody. So personally, this is just a theory, but maybe he was feeling like very inadequate, right? So he comes from all this privilege. He was he was working remotely for a company in California called TrueCar. He was doing like, what do you call it? Like AT or a computer stuff, whatever. Living in Hawaii, working remotely. And all this promise, he's getting into his late 20s. He hasn't done any, I mean, he's not doing anything. He can't, apparently, according to his friends or whatever, he was in so much pain. It's not even like he was dating any girls or anything like that. So he latches on. You've got all that going on. He's a semi-intelligent guy, and you've got this constant class warfare crap going on in our society about like the downtrodden versus the wealthy, and he comes from that, and so he starts like rejecting that and wants to fight back, whatever, who knows. I mean, my big question is, why the hell did he go to Manhattan? I mean, this guy lives in Minnesota. He was in Manhattan for a 1 day conference. This guy
And why
knew
Brian Thompson?
he knew he was going there. He knew where he was going. And how did he know he was going to be alone? Apparently, this guy Brian Thompson had security most of the time, but he was walking alone 6:30 in the morning through Manhattan. But why go to Manhattan of all places to do this? To me,
Des,
that
was it
seems
you
bananas.
that said something about suicide by?
This is suicide by hitman.
Mm.
This
Oh,
was
wow.
this was too the video
Oh,
of
geez.
this was too perfect for me.
Yeah,
Too
the way
perfect.
it's blocked, he's in the bottom left corner. Thompson, yeah, it was like a movie. It was beautiful.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Yeah, but then why is Luigi the hitman though?
Why the fuck is he? Why? This is Manhattan, New York. There's tons of people. I don't care what time it is.
Yeah, it's
Nobody
never
saw
sleeps.
this. Nobody saw this.
There
guy.
was a dude if you look at the video, there's a dude right by the door throughout this entire episode. When he starts firing, there's a dude like 10 feet away from Thompson who just stays there the whole time. I think he shrinks down, and he's wearing all like dark colors.
So one guy in all of New York City, all of Manhattan. What time is it? 6:30 in the morning?
6:30, 6:40, yeah.
Yeah.
At a time where
totally
people are
active.
commuting to work.
Yeah, it's a work day.
Where they're walking to work on a Wednesday.
In a busy
On
part of
Manhattan.
town. Yeah, I mean,
In a business district.
He was 3 blocks from Central Park. He was just south of Central Park. That place is
And
mopping.
let's keep in mind that there's that
How does that happen?
Yeah.
I don't know.
I don't
Wait,
either. That's what I'm
are you
saying.
saying
This is
it's
too perfect for me.
Are you postulating that Thompson hired someone to kill him for like insurance reasons?
I'm not saying insurance reasons, but like him and his wife are separated. So
Did
maybe
not
he
know
was
that.
yeah. So and she's kind of hot. But anyway, they were like separated or whatever.
Yeah.
Which
Let's talk about her a little bit more.
That could mean anything. That could mean like she hates this dude. There could mean there was some infidelity. There could mean this could be a whatever. We don't know. But they were separated. They were living not together.
What if she did it?
Or what if she did it?
But if you hire a hitman, how do you
Sure.
end up with the Ivy League book, book nerd as your hitman?
Jeez, man.
I don't know.
That's an interesting take. I have not. Wow.
I mean, that is an interesting take.
That
I
can't
think
be. I
the
mean, why?
logistics of it don't support it.
It would explain how he knew where he was going to be. Hey, hon, yeah, have a good morning. I'll call
So
you. They say I'm
perfectly.
heading
So
over to the
perfectly.
Hilton right now. Psh, he gets a call. He's on his
Well,
way. All right.
let's explore
Bang, bang, bang.
the fact that okay, so you have the original video of him shooting Brian Thompson, and then you don't see any other video of him until like the next morning.
No, they
or
got him on the
I'm
bike.
sorry, later in the day, where he's on the bike, and
No,
then
that was
there's the
right
cab.
away.
What?
He was in Central Park within 10 minutes of the shooting.
Yeah, because he dropped that backpack of money.
And
Which
he
is
hopped on the
still
bike. The
weird.
bike was there. There's people that are thinking he set the bike up where it was, so
Oh,
he knew it would
clearly,
be
yeah.
there.
That would. But the thing is when you see him on the bike, it's daylight.
It was, yeah, but the sun comes up.
6:40 in the morning. I mean, yeah,
It
sun's
was
coming up.
coming up. Yeah.
Was
Yeah,
it
but
was one of
10
them like
minutes.
the inverse, like security cam, like black and white inverse
Good
thing?
question. Yeah, I don't know.
Huh.
Because that might have explained why the daylight nighttime looked kind of different.
And one would think 10 minutes from Central Park, one would think that that would be one of the first places that, seeing as he got away, that the police would check. At least have a.
And it's Central Park
Well,
on
they
a
were checking
Wednesday
there.
morning.
They were
Desiree,
dredging
There's
like the water trying to find the gun, right?
how does this dude just like ditch this
Yeah.
shit in Central Park no one sees?
Desiree,
How?
you're the
And
wife.
why does he dump? Why does he leave a backpack full of Monopoly money in the park?
The wife thing is making me even more intrigued now because if it wasn't for that video, we wouldn't even of the actual shooting. I mean, they'd be so screwed. They wouldn't even know
He
who this guy
should have
was.
like followed the guy like 20 feet down, away from the front door of the
Away from the front
hotel,
door.
because you
But
knew he should have known there
No,
was
he
a
didn't.
camera
Wait,
there.
no. That's
Yeah.
not accurate. That's
Yeah,
not
you
accurate
knew
at
there.
all.
So if you knew that was there, like he
No,
stepped into the frame of that camera so perfectly.
perfectly.
But Tom, but
Like-
I need to
But
address
maybe
this.
that was an
Tom, that's not
accident.
accurate at all because they showed a video of him being across the street, and then he runs across, and then that's when he pops up behind the car.
Yeah, no, I'm saying he should have let the victim walk 20 feet
Oh,
more
I
away
thought you
from
said
the
he
front
did.
door of the
Okay.
hotel, because
I'm
there's
sorry.
obviously cameras there.
But why? Like, I'm just
Again,
thinking
not very smart guy.
if
I
I'm
disagree.
the ex-wife and I'm trying to off my husband who I'm separated with, it's like, oh, Brian's going to New York City, and you know how horrible it is in New York City because we're just folks from Minnesota. We don't know nothing about whatever. And it's like he was there for a one-day conference. I mean, how
No, it
the
couldn't be a
heck?
hitman, because if it was a hitman, he wouldn't have left all these clues, the inscriptions on the bullet
But he could have been a
casings,
bad one.
Monopoly money, all this. Or a hitman would not do all that.
Unless
Yeah,
you wanted
all
to
that
take, unless you
straight-
wanted to take attention away from the shit that you were doing, like that whole stock stuff that they were getting in trouble for, that they were being investigated. They were in a lawsuit. United Healthcare company was. I mean,
Yeah, what if it was the
I
company?
don't know.
I'm just saying,
Possible.
it's a
how does
distraction.
how does Luigi, and according to his high school yearbook, his nickname was Pepperoni, which I think is pretty
Maybe
racist,
he
but
liked pizza.
whatever. They called him that. But anyway, if Pepperoni
You
was
can't be
there,
racist towards other white people just because they're from a different country.
I'm just saying it, whatever. But I'm just saying,
leave the cracker alone.
How did he know? That's what I'd like to know. How did he know he was going to be there? This guy was not in town for a week.
Hold on, so
It was a planned conference, though.
the Brian dude
No,
didn't
the
live in
conference
New
may
York
have been
City?
one day, but he could have
Oh,
been there
no.
for 2 in front and 2 in back.
Brian did not live in New York City. He lived
Oh.
in Minnesota.
Minnesota.
Minnetonka? By Lake Minnetonka?
Minnesota.
Why don't you purify yourself in the waters of Lake Minnetonka?
But he was
Ah,
scheduled to be at
Brent.
this particular conference, though.
Nice. Well done. That's not the Lake Minnetonka.
And he was going in with a basically investors meeting is what he was
Yeah,
going
I think so.
to do.
So if you look
But it
at
was
the
publicly known that
press,
he was going to be there, right?
I guess so. If they're publicizing it, the CEO is
And
going
Yeah,
to be
and
there.
see,
So
Homeboy doesn't, dude. Homeboy might know, dude. This is getting deeper. Homeboy might just knew that he was going to be at this conference, but how the fuck did he know he was going to be at an investors meeting?
and how did he know he was going to be walking on the street at that time? Yeah, again, Des, don't pass the sniff test.
What
There's
if
something
I think
we're
what
gonna.
if it was one of Thompson's sons?
For that, I don't
But
know how old he
again,
started.
we have to make the connection between
To get
Luigi
inheritance?
and how old were his sons?
I think high school and college,
They look kind of older.
same basic age. Put the word out.
sounds like
But
we need one of those cork boards with the tacks and the
Yeah.
strings so we can kind
yes,
of piece this together.
that's how they do it.
Well,
Yes.
and this is where we're
Hold
kind
on.
of
Listen. Brian Thompson, 50, and his wife Paulette Thompson, 51, were living in separate homes in Maple Grove, Minnesota.
Near
And
Lake
had been for years, reports the Wall Street Journal. In
Mm.
2018, Brian Thompson bought a second house for $1 million close to where his wife and sons were living. Brian Thompson was just shot before 7 a.m. on Wednesday. Yeah, we know that. And his killer is seen on camera. Yeah, we also know that. Paulette told NBC News that Brian had been receiving threats, but still went ahead with his New York City trip.
But again,
Yes, there had been. Yes, there had. Listen to this. Yes, there had been some. Oh, yes, there had been some threats. Basically, I don't know. A lack of coverage. I don't know the details. Paulette told NBC
Yeah, I
News.
heard about there were death threats against
I
him.
just know that he said that there were some people that had been threatening him.
So why is he there
Can you
with
be
no
more
security?
vague, bitch? Like,
Yeah, that's pretty vague.
and regardless, he's the CEO of an insurance company. I'm sure daily threats are. I'm sure there's threats
Yeah.
daily with this
So he
guy.
might not have taken it seriously.
Yeah, yeah.
I heard Elon Musk I'm not yeah, in reading some about this stuff, I heard that Elon Musk has 200 full-time security guards on his payroll. I mean, obviously
Yeah.
because they're working in shifts.
And this guy didn't have
That's
anybody.
astonishing. 200. I mean, that's like a military force.
And this guy had nobody.
He did, but they weren't with
I
him.
mean,
That's
it's
the
like
weird
6
part.
a.m. You figure you can sneak down
Yeah.
to the McDonald's, get yourself a
Or
sausage, egg, and
Starbucks. How ironic would that be?
Okay, the
same
only
Starbucks
thing
if they had bumped into each other. at the
because we're
Starbucks.
speculating, and I don't mean any disrespect to the family, because look, we're a podcast, we're just speculating.
yeah, this is all alleged.
Has-
We're just talking
has-
shit.
Has
We don't know what we're
anyone
talking
thought about the theory of that Pepperoni and Thompson were lovers?
What?
Just saying.
No,
Could be.
I don't think
No,
that.
okay, maybe
Yeah.
not.
Has he denied the relationship? He
Mhm.
deposed.
His sons are
the
16 and 19.
Yes,
What's that?
16
Desiree?
and 19.
Okay.
he turned
I
down
don't.
his
I don't.
claim.
I don't.
Ooh, let's get on Reddit and see what the fuck Reddit has to say
I
about all
don't.
this.
I don't buy into the
Dude,
kids.
I'm gonna go to Vegas. I'm putting 100 down on the gay lover thing.
Well, they always said that the husband always did it, so maybe the wife did it this time.
Man, I gotta rein it back in here. I'm going off.
Yeah.
the lead.
Again, I feel like we're going down the road of
Oh yeah, and we need to bring it back
he
on
was
the road.
he was very intelligent and probably read some books on how to pull off, murder. And,
Oh, I'm sure.
like, I don't think he came into this unprepared at all. And, like, again, why did
But
he
where are these-
drop a bag in Central Park?
Because it was so identifiable. The first
In
thing
New
I
York,
saw,
a Tommy
Like, where's
Hilfiger
fingerprints on the
Hilfiger
bag?
bag. You
It
think
wasn't-
it's that
it wasn't a Tommy Hilfiger bag. It was the first thing I heard. And this was like Wednesday at noon or whatever. When they first released that footage, there was already someone that had identified that bag. And apparently, that bag is a very high-end, like world traveler type of bag. It's not something that you buy at Costco or whatever. It was a nice piece of luggage that is meant to be like a backpack. And people
Fancy.
were immediately like, that's odd. Like this guy definitely
distinctive, is what you're
has
saying.
some money. Yeah, it was an expensive bag, and it was a very kind of. I mean, it's like having like a Louis Vuitton backpack. I mean, that's basically the way it was
Right.
described.
Oh, don't get Des started.
I'm just saying.
Louis.
Luigi
No,
Vuitton.
but it just, for whatever reason, it strikes me strange because he also had another backpack, clearly, because they found his gun and cash in the bag. So that leads to a little bit more organization that we're not fully knowledgeable about.
Keeping the gun was so stupid.
But that's the thing. So he shoots the guy, goes and gets the bike, puts the gun in the backpack. So then he not only does he dump I would assume that he put it in the backpack because riding a bike, it would fall out if you put it in your waistband. You're not going to drive down the street with the gun on the handle. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
It seems likely that he put it in the backpack, or maybe the jacket that he was wearing had deep pockets, but I doubt that. Because it was like
Could have,
that big.
because I remember a particular guy that rode a bicycle down the street holding a Van Halen 5150 album on his side.
Wow, man, that's going back. Yeah,
He could have held that gun like Mike held that
yeah,
Van Halen
all the way
album.
home on my BMX bike. Yeah, man.
Seems unlikely though. Seems that he would put it in the bag, which means that he had to go and dump it in the park and take out the gun. And he probably maybe he had the other backpack where he dumped this backpack so that he could transfer it there.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Well,
There's a lot to this.
Can we
man.
jump into the other two, the insurance, like insurance companies being evil, and then also like the media narrative portion of the story, those two things? I mean,
Yeah, so let's talk about insurance companies being evil. I'll talk about that all day.
Yeah.
So about the same time that this happened, I guess it's kind of been in the talks, like, and basically whoever owns Blue Cross Blue Shield,
I'm not sure.
It
Care
starts with
First?
A.
No, Allied, Aetna.
No, not Aetna. I don't know, Anaheim.
Okay.
Okay.
We'll just say Blue Cross Blue Shield. They were throwing around the possibility of starting to limit anesthesiologists
Oh, yes.
time in
I
the
heard about
OR
this.
for how long you
Yeah.
can be on anesthesia.
Whoa.
Which
They
is
were going
completely
to
stupid.
eliminate it or limit
No, they
it?
were going to limit. So let's just say
They would only
which-
cover like an hour's worth of
yeah.
anesthesia or
So let's just say
something.
you have a knee replacement, and because insurance companies, they're the ones, they make the rules, man. If they say a knee replacement is supposed to take 3 hours, they're only paying that anesthesiologist for 3 hours of anesthesia, bitch, because don't let it be 4.
That's some bananas. And anesthesiologists make a lot.
They do. And the whole thing is, well, they're making people, which I don't believe this, but they're making people be under for longer so they can make more money off of the reimbursement.
That's dangerous.
Now listen, I don't believe that.
I don't either.
No.
I mean, that's very dangerous.
Maybe in very very minimal. I don't even see it. I don't even see it then. Like,
Maybe only in the way, if you were under longer, they wouldn't be mad about it.
Plus, look, I've been around a lot of doctors. I've known a lot of anesthesiologists, unfortunately. These guys aren't thinking that way, man. It's like they're getting the job done. They're not like, man, how can I make another? They're not doing that.
One
man.
more buck.
and do you know, like, okay, I work in heart
Not on
surgery.
that level, but
Do you know the ramifications that could happen if you only had 4 hours to do your surgery, and some shit happens along the way, and you're rushing through to get done by the time clock? Your
career's over.
It's not. It just could be, and things go wrong. Things go wrong all the time in surgery, and so it takes longer. Like,
Maybe the doctor's a little slower than the other doctors.
or maybe they didn't anticipate it taking as long to repair a thing. I don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe the knee replacement didn't fit. I'm not sure. Maybe it took extra people to hammer that knee in your femur and your leg bones and cut it off. Maybe it didn't. The saw was not sharp enough. I don't know, but so many things could happen, and I think that would be really stupid. So that after this happened, they kind of shut that down, the whole anesthesia thing.
You mean after this event last
This
week?
event, yes.
I was gonna joke earlier. I was like, if you have any
anesthesia,
if you have any elective procedures you've been thinking about trying for it, now's the time, because I don't think anyone's done anything for at least a few weeks.
Point.
Yeah.
They don't want to get shot.
I want another head. Can I have a second head? Sure, man. Whatever. Here you go.
Speaking of insurance companies, I don't know if it's anesthesia companies, insurance companies. I don't know if it's just insurance companies that are doing this, or a lot of like corporate, C-suite folks. They're like taking down contact information, like photographs of their CEO boards and, board
Yeah,
of
I heard about
trustees.
that.
Yeah.
I mean,
Wow.
I think the thing with the insurance companies, again, the old adage is, insurance companies don't make money from charging um, fees. They make money by denying
Denying your
claims.
claims. Yeah.
But the thing is, the insurance industry, I mean, I'm trying to think of another one that's more, maybe the airline industry is more, but probably
Pharmacology.
one of the most regulated industries in our country, if not the world. I mean, that you cannot detach government from the insurance industry. They're like this. They're totally
They're doing that
intertwined.
with each other. They're
What?
married. They're in
They're
bed with each other.
married. I
They're
mean,
married.
insurance companies are playing by the rules that are set out by politicians and their own lobbyists. Their own lobbyists go to war with the politicians. The rules come, and that's what they're following, and they're maximizing their profit, as much as possible. I mean,
That's why I
again,
say the insurance companies make the rules. Like Centers for Medicare and Medicaid, and then like Blue Cross Blue Shield is who makes the rules of all the shit and how much
but
stuff
but
costs, how much
but
stuff
what
takes, how
about
long.
like one of Zeus's oldest issues on this show? One of the first episodes, he was talking about having insurance be able to be sold across state lines. When Obamacare came in and set up markets in each individual state and kind of took away competition.
Which was Trump's idea.
It was in Obamacare. I mean, Trump may have, I don't know. I mean, he may have
My
continued it.
insurance is out of Michigan. I don't know how I got that.
But I'm just saying, look, I don't know that the insurance companies are evil or whatever. I mean, that's a moral question people can answer. But I do know that this is not a proper response because what the hell is the end game for this? Like, is everyone just, I mean, if someone annoys me, I can just go shoot them, or if someone does me wrong,
Well,
I can go out and murder them. I mean, where are we going? I mean, this is
and I think it's
bananas.
safe to say he wasn't doing this for money. Money was, unless maybe his family had invested, but in United Healthcare and took a hit or something.
I
But
don't think he was motivated by money.
right, that wouldn't be a motive. And also he hadn't talked to his family.
Yeah, they
Apparently,
reported him missing like in November.
Yeah.
yeah. So, God
Which
damn, this is a
Apparently he was
really,
recuperating
really.
from the back surgery, right? And then he was taking like these psychedelic drugs. This is while he was like gone AWOL from his family.
mhm.
Well, yeah. There was an interview with one of his pals from while he was at. They called it like a surf community, or it was some weird phrase they used.
Yeah.
Surfing, yeah.
And the one guy that they interviewed was like, first of all, he said it was unfathomable that this was the guy that did it. Like, and here's another thing, but let me get to this. So the guy basically liked Magnoli and thought that he was a decent fella. But when he was there, when he first got there, he went for some surfing lessons and was like bedridden for like
hmm
and I don't know how long, but enough that the guy remembered and noticed. But here's my thing. First of all, intense back pain. How was this is joking about how ripped he is. The dude was ripped, like really, really fit. 8-pack, jacked. How you
Were those
doing
like recent photos though?
Yeah, I don't know.
What's that?
Were those recent photos?
I
It
don't know.
doesn't matter. He's had the back pain all his life. So
Mm,
how is he
How
that
long?
ripped?
What was the back pain?
I don't know that it was all his life.
It
Apparently,
was, I think they
he had
said
a
since he was like 12,
he had like
like a long
some
time.
displacement or some misalignment, and then he had the surgery where they put the four screws in
I think the
to his
I,
surgery
lower
well,
back.
This is
got messed.
this. Let's just take a moment for a PSA.
Yeah.
Don't ever have back surgery.
Oh, really? Just
PSA over.
it never it never ends
Never
well.
works. It never ends well. It just never works. You're still having pain.
well, it doesn't work well in the US because we don't use stem cells.
Go to a
Stem cells are
chiropractor
amazing for that
early
shit.
in your life. Okay. Okay, thanks.
Huh?
PSA
Wow.
over.
I doubt I'm going to have it at this point in my life unless I get into a car accident. So no worries there.
Well, at 36 years old, I already have subluxation in my C6 and C7.
And
You had surgery or?
No, I'm not gonna have surgery. I have to just keep doing the wholesome thing and going to the chiropractor and getting that shit aligned so it doesn't fuse
Say that
together.
about knee surgeries as well. Like they wish they hadn't gotten the knee surgery.
So here's what I'm
Joints,
getting at.
hips and knees usually are okay. It's you got to work at it.
I had bad hip pain. I had what I think it was called. It's not hip dysplasia, but it's called pincer syndrome, and it will hurt. But I kept walking. I kept doing, trying not to let it bother me. And now I still have pinches of pain, but far, far manageable. And
what I'm saying is like joint replacements usually aren't like, you can have joint replacement because it's a joint. It moves. When you get back surgery, it's like fusing your back together and it never
fusing it.
Yeah. Don't ever do that.
Matt, Mike, do you have any insight on hip surgery?
Yeah, I had a hip cantaloupe flip plantasia surgery. No, it was actually paid for by UnitedHealthcare, my second one. So that was pretty amazing. And they paid
Maybe
for it
Mike's behind this whole thing.
without any issues at all.
So here's my thing. Here's my thing. The amount of pain, this is why I think painkillers might be somewhere involved in this, because he's riding a bike afterwards. He ran across the street.
That's true.
How much pain was he in? Is that
it may
part
not
of the
be all the
illusion
time.
that is being
it could be
overlooked?
And again, how do we know that? He
That's
didn't write this. I mean, this is the story that other people are telling. This guy has not gotten up and said it firsthand yet. He hasn't said. Other people say that he said it, but he hasn't said it. So
I'm going to lean with the guy saying that he was bedridden for a while. I feel like that guy was sincere. Could be that he, apparently he was on the phone. He was on his computer. Was he not texting anybody or maintaining any?
He was on his computer a lot. He was on his computer when they found him in McDonald's.
Funny, speaking of all that. Okay, so apparently months before Luigi allegedly gunned down
it's like think of DonkeykongKong. Yeah, I just think of
Mangione is the one that gets me.
Mangione.
He was about to for family. Mangione.
Pepperoni. Yeah, pepperoni Mangione.
Had maintained.
Completely
it's
not
me,
offensive.
Luigi Mangione.
Completely not offensive at all. Pepperoni.
Wow, guys, we're coming across a little racist.
Okay, you can't be racist against white people.
It's fine. All right.
Anyway, they like it. Mangione had maintained an active social media presence for years, posting smiling photos from his travels, sharing weightlifting routines, and discussing health challenges that he faced. He publicly kept track of nearly 300 books that he had read or wanted to read, even posting about a favorable review of the Unabomber Manifesto on his book talk, basically.
So one of 300.
But then, during the summer, I'm guessing this past summer, Mangione appeared to stop posting online, prompted worrying message from some of his friends. Hey, these are text messages. Hey, no one's heard from you in months, and apparently your family is looking for you. One user on his Twitter tagged him and account. Are you okay? Another person posted. Now as police rush to piece together Mangione's potential motive and moments leading up to the
and he was like, "Stop bothering me! I'm planning a murder."
Yeah, right. Exactly. And I guess
really
his family.
murder.
Yeah, his family like missed his or reported him missing or whatever. And then he like made that gun. He was carrying a backpack containing a black 3D printed pistol and a black 3D printed silencer. And then he had a handwritten document that basically said that
3D print
these
a
parasites
silencer
had
also?
it coming.
Wow.
Yeah.
Man, everybody's talking like this 3D printing of a gun is like an easy thing to do.
It is, dude. It is unbelievably easy. It really is.
Computer programmer as well, so he could get
They're available. You can get the files.
Kind of copy.
Yes, but the mechanics of making a gun.
You could buy a 3D printer from Hobby Lobby for $300.
Yes, but this had to be like a highly dense plastic. It's firing off bullets.
Right, but so it had a metal
one-time use guns.
It had a metal barrel and a metal slide. That's what I heard. And it also had a Glock magazine. But Zeus, you being, former military, I'm sure you can take apart your service weapon and put it back together. It's just parts at the end of the day. And that's what you print out are
Yeah,
these
but
parts, and then you put them
then
together.
okay,
The guy
so
was an engineer. He was a master degree engineer
fair, that is
student.
fair. But what I'm saying is, let's not make it sound like it's that easy, because you're also
But
throwing in a
easy.
magazine
Yeah.
that may or may not fit into this gun.
It
Like
will.
there's a lot of factors involved in it that don't make it as simple as you guys are playing it to be.
I can't even print
Actually,
like
I
the
watched
cafeteria schedule. I
Right.
try to print something on my printer.
like a year
Damn it, I'm out
ago.
of ink again.
I don't know how we got in this rabbit
Yeah.
hole, but Craig and I did watch a bunch of YouTube videos about printing 3D guns, and it is easier than you think it is.
It's very easy. Not that I would know.
We
I
didn't do it, but
understand that the framework of it is easy, but having it match up with the barrel and
well,
the
yeah, but it doesn't
magazine,
very good. But that thing jammed like three. Like if you watch it, he's like unjamming that shit.
but
That's
it's still
true.
fire.
He was racking it a million. Yeah.
Yeah. I just
Damn
find
this
that not
plastic
as
gun.
But here's the thing that I don't understand. Like that doesn't make sense with all the motives the MO we were talking about. Why write those words on the bullets? That seems very precious to do.
and that again is why I feel he's more organized than he's.
He
But it
wants to
shows
get
the
caught.
motive again. But why
Shows
was
the
the motive
motive.
there if he had so much money? Why did he care about insurance so much?
That is the other part.
That was such a good point, Zeus, because I didn't think of that. He's so
The
rich.
motivation is the intriguing part of this.
Well, he
What
knows
is the
he's going to
motive?
be. Maybe he wants to be lauded. He knows. I mean,
That's why I'm
when
saying
he
I
wants to
think
be
he
the
wanted
Robin
to
Hood
get caught.
figure. He wants to be.
Or they could have hired the guy to take the attention off of several fucking lawsuits and selling stock shares that they be doing behind the
But
scenes.
if you're gonna hire someone, I just feel like, again, I don't know. I've never tried to
Are you going to
hire an
hire
assassin, but I
one
feel
of
like
the elite from Baltimore? Is that who you're going to hire?
I don't know. I just
Hey,
feel like if
he's
you
like
went on Yelp, you could find
if
some
he's
better.
posting him, if he's like in the job, the most wanted,
You
what's it
check the
called?
Yelp reviews first.
The wanted ads for a
This
hitman,
murderer
if he's
has
there,
4 stars.
yeah.
Hire
I mean,
me.
shit.
I'm a Luigi.
Pepperoni
Got
is the
pepperoni.
best.
Don't hire my brother. He's a Mario.
We're gonna have a good spaghetti dinner. We're gonna plan an assassination. Yes.
We're going to get canceled.
Now I'm sounding like I'm Russian. Not even. Oh my God, man. Jesus.
Yeah.
Well, if it helps any, when I was in France, a lot of the French people thought I was from Italy. I don't think I look Italian at all.
No.
But
Look
I
at the
don't know.
dark hair, I guess.
They said it was my nose.
Hmm.
I was like, y'all are fucking weird. Like, no.
I still don't understand why his family didn't notice him. They had a full face picture of him. I mean,
Well,
They might not have wanted to turn him in, though.
if I may be
well,
frank,
that's a crime, though. That's a crime. If you are an accomplice at that point.
Pretend like, no, I didn't recognize him.
if I can
Maybe
be
they didn't see the
frank,
news.
That guy's-
you know what? Honestly, the
Man.
pictures of him in the Starbucks, they don't look like enough like him.
But if he's family or friend,
No,
look,
but
the four of you, if any of you guys were like had a hood on and there was, I'd be like, man, that's Tom. 100%.
Dude, I don't know. I look like a fucking bridge troll when I have makeup on. I look like a
Took
different
those
person.
glasses off, Mike. I wouldn't I'd probably walk straight past you on the street.
That makes me sad. I'd probably walk right past
I'm just
you,
not
man.
good with faces.
Zeus,
Yeah,
I would recognize.
like I said, it's this one. I think we're going to be feeding off this one for a while. I don't think we've even touched the surface of.
Can we touch on how the media narrative is that
Yeah.
this guy's hot and it's like cool and we should kill?
How much of that? They're joking, right?
I don't think so.
I mean,
People on Twitter, they're like,
Taylor,
"Oh, he's so
our
hot."
favorite Taylor Lorenz was not joking. She was on with Piers Morgan, and she was basically saying like it's justified because this Brian Thompson guy murdered people. And she said murdered people, not denied coverage. Yeah, I'm sorry.
I don't know who needs to hear what I'm about to say, but a CEO of a very large company is not the one making the decisions.
Correct.
So if anyone thought he was the one that was denying them claims, he's not.
But you could say he's in charge. He's in charge of the system
Well,
that
and
is.
No, that would be the
is where
CFO,
his,
honestly.
Oh yeah,
that
true.
is where Luigi's
Pepperoni.
pepperoni.
It's me, Luigi.
No, it's me, Mario. We need to do a super cut of all these.
The
Really
title of this episode is going to be Pepperoni. People are
No,
like,
but that is where I can lean into the delusional state of this guy. Like we numbskulls that we are, we all realize that this guy wasn't making decisions. He wasn't on the phone denying perhaps
Right.
But this is symbolic.
right.
True.
But that's why I say this leans into the delusional state of this guy, that he just disregards all rational thought
But
and
I mean, the
shoots the
CEO
guy
could
that's
put
head of the company.
pressure on everybody, say, "Hey, we need to increase this bottom line," and then everybody's
it's
like,
like-
"Oh, we
it's
got to
like
find a way
shoot-
to like cut back on costs."
Yeah. Yeah.
It's
So
like
he
shooting the
puts the
president because a
pressure.
cop beat up a criminal. You know what I mean?
What are you
There's
playing,
the
Des?
connection is very
Don't hear
loose.
I can't hear
It's
it.
breaking up.
I
What
can't
was
hear it.
what was that?
I don't know. Yeah, that.
Okay, this is
Okay.
horrible. I'm sorry to all my Italian friends.
So do we want to get into our theories?
Sure. And yeah.
My theory's out the window now. I mean, you guys have brought up some good points that I
Well,
didn't
I've
think
been
about.
So what
telling
was-
you that for 2 days, Tom.
What's your theory? What's your gut?
Me?
Tom? No, Tom.
What's your theory?
Well, I was
Or what
thinking
was
it
your
was
theory?
it was because of the denied insurance, his back pain, his mother's medical issues, and he was just sour and mad at this
Yeah, I don't buy any
insurance
of that.
company.
What
Yeah.
medical issues does she have? Do we know? Or just general medical?
I
She's very
forget.
much
I read
alive.
it somewhere, but
But see-
it's out there.
But see, none of that matters. They had money; they could have paid cash for
And
everything.
then what's the motive then?
I think this is
That's
more
what I'm
Marco.
saying. The
And then why
motive
would
is
he
gonna be-
write the deny and depose? I mean, if it wasn't about the healthcare and the money,
I think it was more
Monopoly money.
Machiavellian than that. I think he was
you had to
doing
be
it.
angry about the healthcare stuff.
He was like wanting to be a superhero, anti-hero.
Again, Brad Pitt, 12 Monkeys, man. Just
Dude.
this weird self-loathing. Maybe we don't know. I mean, they reported him missing in November, but he's been gone for like 2 years.
No. His friends started reporting him not being responsive as early as June.
He got the back surgery this summer, I think. Like this past summer.
And then
Okay.
his parents
lines up.
haven't been
But
able
see,
to.
that's a huge. That leads me to believe that mom and dad may have black sheeped him. Maybe he
His
was.
mom reported him missing to the San Francisco City Police. Reported him as a missing person because
But
that's
in
the last.
November.
And I think it was in November. That was the last place she knew he was. Yeah, there you go. And she reported him, like officially filed a report. I mean, that's a serious. That's not like, man, I wonder where Pepperoni is. That's like, man, I'm filing a police report to find this
His
guy.
mom called him pepperoni.
I don't know. No, I'm just doing that
Little Peppy.
to be a
So I mean, yeah, I'm.
Pepe. Pepe. All right.
So my
Oh
theory
my
is
God.
that this is exactly what he wants. He wants to be a martyr.
For what cause?
Clues
though?
that were left don't match up with the organization and skill that he showed in different places. Also, let's bring up the fact that the guy had severe back pain and he's riding a bike, running across the street, like things that don't sync necessarily.
That's another
with
good
that.
point. So if he
Huh?
had severe back pain, then how was he riding the bike?
Right. So there's things that don't, like, for every smart thing, there's these things that are dumb or inexperienced. And then for every he's in pain thing, there's these things that don't indicate that he is
I mean, maybe you
necessarily
can do
in
like
pain.
some action when your back is fused. Maybe you can do certain actions, but you can't do everything you want to do, and you're still in pain, but you can do some
Right, but
things.
that leads me into something that Desiree will back me up on, which is drug-induced psychosis. But see, that doesn't really match up
It's
either
such a
because psychosis is
long-term
usually very
Planning. Yeah, the premeditation was like long. It wasn't like
Right.
one
So
day. It was
psychosis really doesn't match either.
yeah. So I would toss out the drugs.
The hallucinogens may come into that, but
But
I didn't
but
hear anything about hallucinogens. So
but the thing is, if he idolized or thought highly of Kaczynski, I mean, the MO is very similar, where
Yeah.
highly intelligent guy, you put in the righteous indignation, which is a very powerful motivator, and then you get the whole thing of the arrogance, right? The hubris of like, I have seen the light. I understand
he also said
the
that he
way
was
it's
smarter than
working.
everybody else. Did you hear
Right.
about that?
Yes, and I need to show the way to all the plebes out there that don't see what's going on. I gotta wake the people up. I mean, that story's been told throughout
And
human history, man.
being brought into the courthouse and saying, this is a crime against the American population.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, where I think it's more likely, and again, this is just my 2 cents. I think that this has worked out exactly how he wanted to. Timeline, sure.
Mm.
I want to stay free as long as possible, and if I do happen to get away, that's fine too. But my end game is to get caught.
I think he was going to go after someone else because it doesn't.
Yeah, because
If he wasn't,
Kaczynski
yeah,
stayed on the run a long
Yeah,
Why
time.
would he be carrying his manifesto with him?
but I'm just saying it doesn't make sense to do something like this and then stop. Is because it wasn't about Brian Thompson, right? It was about United Healthcare because United Healthcare is the biggest insurer in the country that has the most denials of claims. That's why he went after him. It had nothing to do with Brian's just a placeholder in this.
Yeah.
So the next logical thing would be to do it again. I mean,
So another
Yeah,
time.
what was
My gut
it?
feeling
Where's
is-
Blue Cross Blue Shield at?
right.
Where's their headquarters?
Probably in New York.
Altoona? No, I'm just kidding.
And plus, if he was going to stop, he would have gotten rid of the gun. He would have gotten rid of the fake ID. He would have not. He was on the run. He could have just
His
blended
manifesto did say these parasites,
in. Right. Exactly.
plural,
I caught a
need
good
to be
catch.
stopped.
Yeah. He was plural. He was plural about it.
Yeah.
But again, a computer engineer does a handwritten manifesto. Why wouldn't he
Maybe.
blast that across the world for everybody to see?
Well, maybe Mike's right. Maybe
Just
he
like
wasn't done yet.
tapping
Maybe
a
that was just a
button.
draft.
Yeah. Maybe that was a draft.
Yeah, he might have been. It might have been in the works.
Maybe that was a
Okay,
diary entry.
But that's, you realize that that's kind of a
He
pull.
he did say this weird thing to the Altoona police, according to something I read, where he said, "Look, or to the feds, I think he was like, listen, I respect what you guys do. I'm going to save you the trouble. I'm not
The
working
FBI,
with
yeah.
anybody. I don't want you guys wasting your time. I'm not working with anybody." Now he could be
Which is
lying.
exactly what somebody that would want to
Right,
cover up their
exactly.
friends
Yeah.
would say.
Right.
You know what I mean?
That's
Right.
true. Yeah.
Yeah, where suddenly that's what they're going to trust him on.
Right. Yeah, you can't.
Yeah,
you
don't
can't really
investigate
trust
Mario. He's
Yeah.
not
Yeah,
involved.
Mario.
You leave Mario
Mario.
alone.
Leave my butt out of this. Okay.
It was
Zeus,
Wow.
that stupid ape throwing the barrels.
listen, here. So if it wasn't the wife who did it, and if it wasn't suicide by hitman
Or gay lover.
or gay lover, or to cover up the shit that was going down, supposed to be like, on the DL
Right.
in the board
Mhm.
of trustees at the United Healthcare. If it was none of that,
Yeah.
then I think maybe kind of like how Zeus was saying, like this. Now that I'm thinking about it, okay, this guy was not that old. So anyway, he had back surgery, right? One thing that could happen, well, there's always risks with surgeries, but one thing you can happen, especially when you're working with bone surgeries, especially when you're working with, neurological tissues or like, the spinal column,
Just
is
in general,
you can have a neurological injury. You
Wow.
can have a fat emboli, which is basically a glob of fat that goes to your brain.
Wow.
It's like a stroke,
Yeah.
basically. He
Which-
could have suffered. That could have happened. There's also this thing. I don't know how. Again, I don't work in spinal surgery. I don't know this, but there is something called when you are on in bypass surgery. There's something called pump head, and what pump head is if you have a extended pump time on under anesthesia and whatever, you don't come back the same.
Hmm.
Like there is there is some mental change. Like
Well, yeah.
Like
I mean,
it's Tom, but it ain't like Tom was before surgery.
You mean
So,
just
like,
He's a
regular
little different.
anesthesia? Just regular anesthesia?
I don't know. Well, I know it's like a lot of it is the cardiopulmonary bypass machine that does a lot of it, but I don't know any other type of surgical arena if this could have this has any type of,
I mean,
truth
that's
to it.
and the interesting thing about what you just said, Des, is so TBIs, it stands for traumatic brain injury.
Yeah, we know.
I'm just for the listeners.
yeah.
I'm not just talking to you guys. I'm talking to our 50 people.
Oh.
But so I've always theorized that like a stroke is a
Well, everyone froze up. It's pretty sad.
Dramatic.
symptoms like violent outbursts, things like that.
Right. It's akin to like the same outcomes, but it's a traumatic brain injury is resulting from a trauma.
No, I understand. I realize the difference. What I'm saying is that the results could be similar.
Yeah, there could have been some neurological injuries stemming from that surgery.
Still, neurological injury leads towards more acute stuff, like not 10 days
But what I'm
out,
saying,
planning
what I'm
was
saying is with
involved.
this pump head thing, this is permanent.
But the thing is, what Desiree is saying totally squares with multiple friends and families. I'm not going to say testimony, but reports
Kind of what they're saying, that he was never really the same after surgery.
that he wasn't the same, and that he went from being this incredibly charming, happy-go-lucky, friendly dude to doing this in the span of
all the
6
pictures
months.
you see were him smiling.
And he's
And
just
that's a
in
real
bed
smile.
in his thoughts at home in the
Yeah,
hospital bed
and
in his own thoughts,
and the thing is, those smiles, and again, I'm not an expert.
cooking up fucking shit that he needs to do to these people.
He looked like a sweet kid.
He looked like it was a warm smile. It wasn't a crazy smile. It
He was
was a
hanging with
warm,
friends.
charming smile.
Yeah.
And so what I'm saying, I love this theory. I mean, what Des is saying totally squares with what we know. It
Yeah,
totally
it's very
squares.
interesting. So what's your theory, Mike?
I mean, yeah, I don't know. I think this was someone that
Before we start the show, what did you speculate?
I'm trying to remember, man, because now help me out. What did I say? Did I tell you? No, before the show, what I was thinking was that this was someone that kind of had you know, a savior complex, a hero complex, anti-hero, that he was in a point in his life that things weren't going the way he wanted them to go for whatever reason. And for whatever reason, he latched this Brian Thompson guy or United Healthcare or health insurance industry in general became the bad guy. And that was where he targeted all of his angst. And
maybe
then
during his
he was
weird
just
time in
focused on
bed,
that.
he had friends that like he met other people with similar back injuries. He went to like support groups for back surgery
And he's like,
survivors or whatever.
this cannot stand. Everyone needs to wake up. I am going to take care. Everyone needs to wake up. I'm going to do this. And then people are going to, like on Friends of Zeus, we'll finally do an episode on how horrible the insurance industry is because he's one of our viewers.
Good. Oh, I don't know about that.
Oh, wouldn't that be great if he was one of our viewers?
I think it's a 100%.
It's me, Luigi.
Pepperoni. I'm going to check through.
Pepperoni.
Man, that is so bad. I don't even know why that's so funny.
So, anyway, continue with your theory, Michael.
No, I mean
Michael Thompson.
That's kind of my theory because he definitely was not I don't think he's murdered anyone before, maybe. Mm-mm. And if he did, it was very recent, right? I don't think he murdered anyone.
Unless there's a CEO prior
Halloween.
To this that we just don't know about. Unless there's another insurance CEO guy that was murdered that we just don't know about yet.
Yeah, or maybe not even CEO.
They haven't found him yet. They just haven't found that guy.
I think he was definitely going to do more because he kept the gun. If it was about Brian Thompson,
that could have been him wanting to off himself if they.
I know, but if he was just doing it for Brian Thompson, he would have.
The fact that he put parasites plural.
Parasites.
I get. Yeah, I'm kind of tracking.
Yeah.
I mean, I will say it's funny when this happened. I was like, man, it's going to be a big story, and I didn't realize it was going to be this big a story because
I did go
in the last 24 hours. We've got pepperoni guy getting caught. We got Daniel Penny being acquitted.
I'm telling you, the last couple months have been filled.
We've got Syria falling after 50 years of rule under the Assad family. We've got like vehicle side, like SUV-sized drones flying over northern New Jersey by the dozens.
What was that about?
Oh my God! I
I
just
gotta
started
see
looking
that.
into
Is there
that.
video of that?
One kind of more
Yeah,
other
tons of
thing
video.
with this. So did you guys I didn't know this until like literally like 4 hours ago. But do you guys know that the New York murder laws are different than like the whole ass other country?
No,
How
Okay,
so?
listen. So this guy is going to be charged with second degree murder. When I heard this, I was like, second degree murder? What is second degree murder? That's like, a non-planned murder. This was
yeah. Why
intentional.
is it
I mean,
second
this is
Why
degree?
planned
would
out.
they?
Listen, first degree murder in the state of New York, first degree murder is defined as the intentional killing of a person without justification for one of the aggravating factors. The victim was a police officer. The murder was committed while the perpetrator was serving a life sentence, so murdered somebody in jail. The murder was committed with torture of the victim. The murder was committed as an act of terrorism. The murder was committed
This could
during
be
commission.
terrorism.
It could be during commission of an attempted commission of one of the felonies underneath. So like felony murder, basically. Murder for hire. That's the other one. But
That
Has
one
to
I
be
don't
one of
buy at all.
those.
has to be one of those. It doesn't have like usually first degree murder is like a premeditated
But
planned
they could
murder.
also add it. They could amend it and
Yeah,
add it
that could
later.
be just to get him in
They may not
themselves.
have enough evidence proven yet. Like
What I do not buy is
It's
that
totally
he
No, but
terrorism.
what I'm saying
hired
in the state of New York,
Coleman.
in the state of New York, there is no
Right.
premeditated murder
That's
in
weird.
anywhere in the statute of murder. It's basically
Right.
felony murder, so felony
Or
murder
one
is
of those
basically
things.
first degree murder, or then there's second degree murder, which is defined as the unintentional killing of which either exhibits a depraved
Wait.
indifference for human life or an unintentional killing caused by the commission or attempted commission of a felony under the New
Well,
York
I
felony
think
law.
So
that
if you
that's
just
going to
murder like
change.
your spouse and you plan it, it's premeditated, but it's not terrorism. It's not a cop.
So it's
It's
second
not
degree
a.
murder.
So you're
Which
saying I have
which
to
But
move
second
to New
degree was
York?
unplanned.
Right, but I don't know. So I don't know how it falls in there, but that's what they're saying. So secondary murder is punishable by 15 years to life and thus must serve 15 years in prison before being eligible for parole. 15 years.
No,
That's
I think
First
that's going
degree.
to change.
First degree. This is the law. This is the law that was not. It wasn't very long ago that these
Dude,
laws were
Penny was up
in New
for
York.
15 years. Penny was up for a possible 15 years.
By
he'll
the
probably get
way,
more
just
years
to
for the
take a
gun
break in
charge
it,
than for the murder.
so happy he got off. I'm still squirrely about the 6 month or the 6 minutes, but I think it was a good thing. Penny.
First degree murder is punishable by 20 years to life in prison and thus must serve at least 20 years. There is no in any of these murders, there's no possibility that a person will spend the rest of their life in jail
That's fucking
in the
jacked.
state of New
Zero.
York. Isn't that crazy?
It's crazy, yeah.
Crazy.
That
Like
is.
what is this shit?
Well, there's probably a lot of murders in New York. It probably cleans up the plate a little bit. You know what I mean? Like you're constantly probably like murder cases are probably nonstop in New York. So maybe it's a way to lessen the
To
load.
process all the murders.
Yeah.
Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, perhaps. I don't know, guys. Are we satisfied with our
Yeah, I think we may need to do a part two.
well, maybe
If the
not this
situation-
week because well, who knows?
Depends what news comes out. Yeah, well, I think are we doing our Christmas special next week?
Oh,
We
yeah.
got to do one next week because I have gifts coming for you guys and I so want to show them.
So we'll do our Christmas special next week.
And actually, Tom and Mike, you guys really, 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 really need to try and come down here because.
Next week?
Okay.
Next week?
Do what you can to make that happen.
All right, let's talk, man. I gotta
All
bring
right.
my Santa hat.
I think we've been on long enough. Where's Jack? I
true.
think it's about time
We wrap it
this
up.
up.
Take care,
All right.
everybody. Pepperoni.